thank you. I think what we're learning on the ground is the following, that the way Indian society and the education system is structured, there's very little interaction in classrooms or in families. It's quite, and when we were talking to the National Institute of Open Schooling or the Central Board of Secondary Education, and the way English is taught, or the way the language is taught, can we make a change there? Because the way it is taught now is one way, and we need to make the classrooms more interactive. We need to be able to engage in a discussion. And what we found was that in the training institutions also, soft skills was being taught. Soft skills, is not necessarily teachable the way they were teaching it, but we found very interesting experiments. There was a residential training school for plumbers. In the evening, they were shown a film, and there was a discussion on the film. And in the month and a half that they were there, they came in as unable to communicate, kids, closed, inward looking, and when they went out, they could engage in the conversation. So I think that's the thing. And there's a very interesting thing that we are learning. And this is something for all of us to consider. We have a program in which we ask organizations to take kids from J&K and put them through a training program and employ them. A lot of them in the BPO industry are rejected because of MTI. And this is like mother tongue influence. And I say this is crazy. There's a way of resolving this. So how could the workforce of the future actually take care of that? So if your is a local call center, Indian call center, you hire a group of Kashmiris to service your clients in J&K. You hire a group of, let's say, Biharis, sorry for using the term, to service the clients in Bihar. No, we think that everything is very, uniform in India. So it's a two-way situation. We actually got to work with if you go to training providers who are providing you with BPO operators and say, can you do this for us, rather than teach soft skills, and this is the competency that we want, they'll do it for you. And similarly, if we start recruiting people to serve the customer groups that we want, we can actually, address this in a different manner. So it's a two-way kind of thing leading to the same end result.
I think I agree with Dilip. And the other point we can look at is when we are looking for candidates, let's have a very clear demarcation between must to have and like to have. Normally we have a very kind of a mix, must to have and a like to have, which creates a whole lot of confusion. So coming to your point, in terms of your requirement, what is the must to have a candidate can possess? And the like to have, is it trainable or a non-trainable asset? That is one way we can possibly move ahead with. Second is, let's not look for candidates post-education. Let's look for candidates and put them through education, saying that once they are being trained as per my requirement, I will off-take X number of kids from there. And I think that kind of a business model is getting steam now. There are a couple of initiatives which are happening, and I think going forward, those kind of collaborations will increase exponentially.